We're so glad you're here to be part of our parish family. Even if you've just dropped by for a visit or two, we welcome you and consider you one of us. Every family has a story, so here's a short version of how we came to be, what's happened along the way, and where we're headed. In 1954, 5 families in this area desired to form a Catholic community so that it was closer to home for worship and to help them form their children's religious education. As word spread, they were joined by others and they celebrated their first Mass together in October at a private home. Afterward, they shared coffee and donuts around the kitchen table. Later, with the help from the pastor at St. James Church in Augusta, they were able to secure the use of a rustic cabin known as Shady Rest Resort. At Christmas that year, 35 families gathered for Mass there, and it wasn't long before they and even more families told the diocese that they wanted to change their status from a mission or outpost of another parish to becoming one of their own. So the parish was officially established in June 1955 with an area that included some of eastern Sedgwick County and western Butler County. Parishioners lived in Towanda, Benton, Andover, Douglas, Wichita, and Rose Hill. And perhaps St. Vincent de Paul was chosen as the patron saint for the parish because of similarities to this beloved leader. St. Vincent was born in a rural area, had many challenges during his early years, and later became known for his ministry and outreach. After a pastor was assigned, they found a location that could be used all week rather than just on Sundays and holy days. In September 1955, they moved into a former Sinclair pumping station, building south of Kellogg or Highway 54. They divided the building into a worship space, social hall, and priest living quarters. But that wasn't their biggest challenge. A nearby creek routinely flooded their church home, causing them to often shovel mud and dry out furnishings. But they bonded even more and spread the word. By Christmas of that year, the church roster included 85 families. Parish life was thriving with baptisms, first communions, and sacramental preparation done by the pastor, religious sisters, and volunteers. In 2 years' time, this parish home was outgrowing itself. The pastor challenged its members to plan for a better, long-term facility, so they established a building fund. By 1959, they'd raised $40,000, just short of their goal. Construction started at the site of our current property in May of 1960, when Bishop Carroll, who had established the parish, gave his homily at the dedication on January 8, 1961. He praised the parish that had grown from 5 to 100 families. These dreams and sacrifices continued to grow a close-knit community with a new building, ready to enjoy their new worship space, kitchen, and parish hall. In the following years, being frugal, they moved a house from Wichita that their pastor purchased for $1 to become the rectory and hub of parish life. Then in 1978 would come additions to that rectory and church building to provide more space to meet the needs of the developing parish, including classrooms and a gym multi-purpose room. During the 1980s, the parish continued to thrive. Masses were so crowded that a third one was added on Sunday mornings. They talked about adding to the existing structure, so they established another building fund in 1986. To meet parish program and sacramental needs, the pastor hired more staff members. As the capital campaign and building plans were developed in 1990, they moved Masses to the gym. Other areas were repurposed as a Eucharistic chapel, social space, classrooms, meeting spaces, and staff offices. St. Vincent's continued to flourish, and members consistently donated and worked hard to raise funds to meet their $2.2 million goal. Then on April 26, 1991, everything paused. A massive tornado touched down in South Wichita and bulldozed buildings and lives as it moved northeast, destroying everything in its path. Our parish home and others were leveled as it steamrolled through Andover and beyond. We were without a physical home again, and so were many of our members. After we caught our breath and focused on our people's immediate needs, we reimagined and reorganized life as a faith community. It was challenging and daunting at times, but it didn't take long to realize the truth of the words in Bishop Carroll's dedication of our first church. The heart of this church is the people. Parishioners helped each other even more and opened their homes for meetings and classes. We went back to work on revising plans for an entirely new parish complex. We raised funds and placed a priority on worshiping together, no matter where it had to be. With great community support, we rented the auditorium Andover High School for weekend masses. We relocated office space to a nearby shopping center. Andover Methodist and Hope Community Churches opened their hearts and facilities for us for choir practices, vacation Bible school, meetings, and other weeknight liturgies such as penance services. We'll always be grateful to them. With great joy, we moved back to our home base on Holy Thursday, April 1993. How fitting to come back for that special Mass. And we saw resurrection in a whole new way on Easter Sunday, too. When Bishop Gerber dedicated our new parish home on May 2nd, he praised the commitment to faith, sacrifice, and collaboration required to make it all come together. He challenged us to continue growing with these parish qualities. And we did just that. As Andover recovered and even thrived post-tornado, we grew our membership to more than 1,000 families. And as you might expect, a lot of children and youth were included in that expansion. The parish added a staff position for youth ministry and began focusing more on faith formation and community outreach. As parish life thrived, we also looked for new ways to be of service beyond our walls. In 1998, the Pastoral Council began exploring a support relationship with a parish in need. This search culminated with the St. Augustine Indian Mission and School in Winnebago, Nebraska. Started in 1909 by Sister Katherine Drexel, this mission continues to serve some of the neediest families in the region. Our relationship has strengthened and grown since 1999 to include financial support for their school expansion and to pay the salary of the kindergarten teacher. Our volunteers serve on the mission board and gather school supplies for the children with our annual Backpack Bonanza. It's been a blessing for us to be enriched by the Native American culture of the Winnebago and Omaha Indian tribes they serve. And we're excited to help them reach their milestone of building a new school at the mission there. Closer to home, our parishioners also embrace serving at the Lord's Diner, established by Bishop Gerber in 2000. Many of us started serving meals there from day one. We also help at a second location and on food trucks added by this ministry. In 2003, we held an event with the Lord's Diner as one of the beneficiaries, and over the next few years, that evolved into an annual murder mystery dinner and auction that's raised more than $1.5 million in support of the diner's mission to feed the hungry a hot meal every day. In 2003, our staff and pastoral council felt called to explore a new way of doing faith formation. The current method at the time, done everywhere, has centered on an education model aimed at children. Responding to the challenge of Vatican II, church leaders began to see the wisdom of parish faith programs that promoted spiritual growth for adults. Our parish leadership attended workshops sponsored by the Diocese of Wichita and evaluated the experiences of parishes throughout the country. After much study and discernment, we decided to embrace whole community intergenerational faith formation. Thus was born our LIFE program, which means Living Inspired Faith Everywhere. It continues today as the cornerstone of our faith enrichment. Of course, our gathering the whole community for this purpose meant that we needed a place to do this effectively. That's how the Ville came to be. The goal was to create a space that reminded us of our roots of service and community, even starting with our patron, St. Vincent de Paul. That's why the Ville takes you back to Paris at the time of St. Vincent. It even includes a replica of the facade of his home-based church, St. Lazare, at the entrance. This was a big parish undertaking, but years of study, planning, and sacrifice made it happen. As part of celebrating our 50th year as a parish, the 2005 capital campaign focused on raising funds not only for the Ville, but for building a Habitat for Humanity house for a family in need. We also set aside funds for our endowment to help with future parish life. We're blessed to have such a great space for gathering and to use it for outreach to the wider community for meetings, education groups, weddings, and other events. In recent years, St. Vincent's has developed a parish mission that captures the spirit of our history and inspires us to pursue new ways to share the gift of Jesus with others. We're continuing outreach, the fiber of parish life, especially in Andover and Butler County. We're active in the St. Vincent de Paul Society, Hands to Serve, and Andover Caring and Sharing Ministries. We hold regular Red Cross blood drives, and our youth do hands-on projects in the area. Besides gathering for whole community faith formation, we offer multiple Bible studies, book clubs, and small study groups for all ages. Some of our events even happen around kitchen and dining room tables, just like those first families who gathered for Mass in a home. Using our parish mission statement as a touchstone for all we do, we also embrace a parish vision. And we're guided by these parish values that embody who we are. Invitation, active outreach to disconnected Catholics and all others seeking faith. Welcome, hospitality and acceptance to make all people feel at home. Celebration, joyful experiences connecting us with God and community. Growth, all members, all ages growing in faith, hope, and love. Compassion, loving care to support those in need. We're grateful for all those who have come before us and established our foundation, and we look forward to celebrating many gifts of our people who write more chapters in our parish story.